In the quiet dusk of a Kansas October, where the fields roll out like old quilts and wind whispers secrets through brittle cornstalks, drive. Marla Jensen answered her last call. Marla wasn't the kind of doctor who feared late nights or long drives. She was the kind who still did things the old-fashioned way: house calls, handwritten notes, and a smile for every patient, even if they lived miles off the map. Rural healthcare, she used to say, was about heart, not convenience. Her coworkers admired her commitment. Some said she worked too hard. Others warned her not to go out alone so often. But she always waved it off. On the evening of October 19th, she left her clinic in McPherson at 7:12 p.m. Her last appointment was supposed to be a routine follow-up with a patient named Edith Reynolds, an elderly woman recovering from hip surgery. The address came through the clinic's landline, written in shaky handwriting by the receptionist who took the call. Old farmhouse on Merrow Road, the note read. Caller said she sounded frail. You'll see a white fence and a red mailbox. Marla glanced at the paper, frowned slightly. Merrow Road, that's not on GPS. The receptionist shrugged. Caller said it's past those old silos, west of Hallow Creek. So Marla nodded, grabbed her coat, and drove out in her navy blue Subaru. No one thought twice. She always made her rounds. Always came back. She didn't come back. The search started the next morning when Marla failed to show up for her morning shift. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Her apartment was untouched, keys gone, bed made. Police were notified by noon. By sunset, they had located her car, parked on the side of a gravel road 2 miles from the nearest house. The engine was still running. Doors locked from the inside. No signs of struggle. Her stethoscope was on the passenger seat. A half-eaten protein bar in the cup holder. Her bag was missing. What made the officers pause wasn't just the locked doors. It was the way the car was positioned, angled slightly toward the ditch, as if she'd pulled over abruptly. As if she'd seen something. Or someone. And then there was the strange detail that came later, the dashcam. Marla had a small, front-facing dashcam her brother had gifted her a year earlier. Most nights she forgot to turn it on. But not that night. The footage, recovered from the cloud, ran normally for the first 20 minutes. Marla drove calmly through town, past gas stations and shuttered stores. Then she turned onto a narrow dirt road, following handwritten directions taped to her dashboard. At minute 23, the audio crackled. A voice, faint, whispering, seemed to come through the speaker even though no phone was connected. You're almost here. Marla reached for the volume knob. Looked confused. Then, headlights caught a red mailbox and a white fence. She turned left. The house appeared like something out of time. An old, 2-story farmhouse with peeling white paint and sagging shutters. One porch light flickered weakly. The fields around it were wild, overgrown. No other houses nearby. Marla parked. She looked at the camera once, gave a tired smile, and said, "Let's make this quick." She grabbed her bag, got out. The last frame showed her walking toward the porch. A tall figure, hard to see clearly, stood behind the screen door, unmoving. Waiting. The dashcam kept recording. Nothing else moved. No one came back out. After 20 minutes, the porch light went out. Then the screen went black. Police found no footprints, no tire marks, and no trace of the house. Because when searchers reached the spot, just past the red mailbox and white fence, there was no house. Just an empty field. And then things got stranger. Edith Reynolds, the patient Marla was supposed to visit, did exist. Records showed she had lived at that address once, decades ago. But she had died in 1984. The house had burned down in a fire that same year. A lightning strike. Locals still remembered it, remembered how Edith had lived alone, stubborn and reclusive. Some claimed she had gone senile in her final years, speaking of things that lived in the attic, of shadows that watched her from the fields. Marla's coworkers were stunned. Her brother flew in from Ohio and demanded answers. She was science-minded, he told reporters. Logical. Grounded. She wouldn't have hallucinated some old ghost story. But the evidence was chilling. Phone records showed the call to the clinic came from a disconnected landline, one that had once belonged to Edith Reynolds. The number hadn't been in service for 40 years. The clinic's receptionist, shaken, insisted it was real. She remembered the frail voice, the way the woman begged for help. For months, people searched. Volunteers with dogs, drones, even psychic mediums joined in. Nothing. No trace of Marla Jensen. Not her bag. Not a piece of clothing. Not a footprint. But then came the letter. 6 months later, In early spring, the clinic received an envelope with no return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper. I tried to leave, it read. But she wouldn't let me. The handwriting was Marla's, verified by experts. That same week, a farmer named Glenn Mallory, who lived about a mile from where Marla's car was found, reported something odd. He said his granddaughter saw lights in the field near the old Reynolds property. She said there was a house there, he told deputies. Porch light on, woman standing in the window. They laughed it off, until Glenn's granddaughter, 8 years old and not one to lie, drew a picture. It was the same house Marla visited. Same white paint, same sagging porch, same red mailbox, and in the window, a woman in a white coat, eyes wide, mouth open, as if screaming. The case remains unsolved. Her car was eventually towed. Her apartment packed up, but every October, someone leaves fresh flowers at the edge of that empty field. No one ever sees who. And sometimes, on nights when the wind howls through the tall grass, people swear they see a flicker of light where the old house used to be. And if you stop and listen close, some say you can still hear the faint sound of a door creaking open, followed by a voice, barely above a whisper. "Dr. Jensen, we've been expecting you."